And I will say that when we were first looking at this, I said, this makes me homesick. I haven't been to Honduras in a long time, but I'm supposed to be in Honduras for a month in May, or close to a month. And this just all looks so familiar to me. Before COVID, I was going to Honduras 3 or 4 times a year and spending 2-3 weeks or a month at a time there. So these are all water women getting trained. And then here is Dennis on the right. We're waiting for Dennis to get in. I just realized we don't have Dennis. Where is he? Let y'all look at that while I try to catch him. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting on Dennis to get connected here, but we're seeing pictures that they took recently just while they were doing follow-up training or follow-up assessments. So Dennis was back in the North Coast area with another team member who was doing all the photography. So he was doing all the assessment, and you'll see he's holding a phone. I remember that little boy, that little baby from earlier photographs when they were training. So he's taking pictures and he's getting everyone's barcode. That little girl's got a dental kit there that we were giving out to people if they came back in with their filter. So, and I don't yet have Dennis on, so. Okay. I'm trying Ola again. Hopefully they'll be on soon. So today,
would you like to possibly talk about that GIS stuff really quick, or do you?
Yeah, well, I'll just talk about, first of all, today what we were going to do, what we will be doing, and with the help of our GIS capacity, our follow-up capacity. Today, what we're going to be doing is kind of going back, at least virtually, to the north coast of Honduras. And those of you who were with us in the past, and there's Michelle, that's who I talked about in Arizona. Those who were with us in the past know that in 2020, there was a devastating kind of back-to-back pair of hurricanes that hit a lot of Central America, including Honduras. Honduras has a long northern coastline, and just because of the terrain, which is very mountainous, almost right up to the coastline, it's very vulnerable because storm systems tend to kind of get caught there in those mountains. Maybe get over a low mountain and then get in a sort of stuck in the northern area. They dump a lot of water, and then you start getting a lot of landslides. And of course, as you can see from those slides in the video there, there's almost no pavement in these areas. Some homes are built of adobe bricks, and they're unfired bricks. It's just a lot of rain can cause a lot of damage pretty quickly in a situation like that, which is of course true in many other countries as well. So in 2020, then we began preparing immediately for a big response. And thanks to Bill McGraw and Sawyer, who matched Bill, we came up with 5,000 filters, and then we needed funding to cover the training and the distribution. Part of that funding came from Food for the Poor, who were very generous. And also, they also funded follow-up activity, which because of COVID has taken us longer than we wanted. But still, that was a part of their funding. And then we were able to say to our funders, to all our other donors, this is a great opportunity. You can, you're going to be able to sponsor water women at a reduced cost. So we were able to take that down to $50 because we had both the filters and additional funding for support for training. So that was just a really wonderful setup up there. And so now we've got Denise.
Hola, madre, buenos días.
Buenos días, ¿cómo
Buenos
estamos?
días a todos. Muy bien.
Qué bueno, qué bueno. Brian, I just want to remind you to put on speaker view from your end where you're recording so we can be sure and get good connections there. So now that we have Dennis, I jumped ahead a little bit just to give you the lay of the land of this particular project that we're doing, or this particular Waterside chat. We're going to go back briefly to some time for prayer. So let's just pause for a moment and think about the images that we just saw on the video. The beautiful people, the women who lead lives of much challenge, but of much dignity, who love their children, who do whatever they can to help them to be healthy and to thrive in spite of all the many challenges they face. And all of these water women who about a year later showed up with their buckets and their filters and their children, and were prepared to demonstrate their capacity with these filters. And so, Lord, we thank you for your presence and for the presence, your presence that we see in these women and in all of our water women around the world. Thank you for calling us all here together for this time of encounter. We thank you for the technology that makes that happen. We pray not only for all of our water women today, but for all of our donors, all of our volunteers, all of the advocates, anyone who speaks on behalf of your thirsty children. We ask your blessing. And so we pray with you. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Denise, would you like to, ¿quieres rezar en español, Padre nuestro?
Sí, sí. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en la tentación y líbranos del mal. Amén.
Amen. Amen.
Amén.
Thank you. And again, welcome to all. I think that might be Charlene Nelson coming in from the Navajo Nation with us. Welcome, Charlene, and Anibal from Honduras. Anibal, And
Sí,
Janet.
Aníbal está conectado ahí.
Qué bueno.
Sí.
Okay. So we really have a great spread of people coming in from all over. That's wonderful. So Denny's here is here with his team. And Denny, ¿se puede mover la cámara e enseñarnos
Sí,
todos sus
acérquense
equipos?
todos. Acérquense, por favor.
Denny is the country coordinator of Honduras. Okay, and he's showing us all of the water teachers back there with him, all in their water reflecting shirts. Y bueno. Y Jason, who's Jason, who's been coming along as our videographer and photographer. And Jason is learning English, right? Right, Jason?
Jason.
A little shy about it. Okay, so welcome to all of you. We're so proud to be connecting with you today. Estamos muy orgullosos en conectar con ustedes hoy mismo. Gracias por unirse con nosotros.
Gracias a usted, madre.
Thank you. I just welcome them. So, y Aníbal.
Estaba conectado.
¿Y de dónde viene él?
Él es de Victoria, Lloro, departamento de Lloro.
Aníbal is a local community leader from the Victoria, the town of Victoria in Lloro, which is one of the more northern departments of Honduras.
Es ingeniero que trabaja desarrollando proyectos con los más pobres de Lloro.
He is an engineer who works in developing projects with most poor in the Lloro area. Y Denis, ¿cómo se llama su organización?
Se llama FUNASH.
FUNASH.
Sí.
Fundación Aníbal, ¿se puede?
Ahí está Aníbal, ahí está.
Aníbal no se escucha.
No ha abierto el micrófono.
Okay.
No ha abierto el micrófono, le voy a llamar en este momento.
Okay. Su micrófono, Aníbal, se puede tocar el micrófono. Haz un clic en el micrófono.
Habilite el micrófono, hermano Aníbal, porfa.
So Aníbal is one of our great collaborators in the North Coast area. And Michelle, do you know Aníbal? No, okay. I think it's a different area. We weren't able to connect over there with Ocoto Paulino, but we're glad to see you. I think this might be Aníbal's first time on Zoom. He's connecting twice, connecting to audio. Hola.
Hoy sí.
Okay, está bien.
Sí. Un gusto saludarles.
Okay. Danny. Okay, está bien. Okay. Aníbal.
Hola, hola, muy buenos días.
Muy buenos días,
todos y
señor.
todas. Encantado de compartir con ustedes.
¿Perdón?
Encantado de compartir con ustedes. Soy parte de la, como les decía el hermano Denis, de la Fundación en Acción Comunitaria de Honduras, FUNASH. Estamos trabajando con pueblos indígenas de Lloro, especialmente con los tolopanes, en la zona de Victoria, parte del municipio de Lloro, Llorito y Morazán.
Qué bueno. Déjame un momentito para traducir, ¿ok?
Okay.
So Aníbal is, as we said earlier, working with an organization called FUNASH, which is, FUNASH is Fundación. ¿Qué es FUNASH? Fundación.
En Acción Comunitaria de Honduras.
Foundation and Action for the Community of Honduras, something like that. And he's working especially with indigenous peoples. There are indigenous tribes in Honduras, and he's working especially with indigenous peoples in the Victoria area of Lloro. And so that's one of the big areas that Dennis was able to go back to with Jason and do some the follow-up GIS data collection. Y Aníbal, si quiere platicar con nosotros un poquito sobre la experiencia de tener agua con bendiciones trabajando en nuestro equipo, trabajando con sus aldeas. I asked him to just share a little bit about what it was like to have Water with Blessings working there with him.
Así es, bueno, ya tenemos un año de estar trabajando con la Fundación Agua con Bendición, desde el momento que fueron entregados los kits, el equipo de filtros purificadores de agua a las familias, y desde ese momento, pues...
So they were, he was talking about Water with Blessings, bringing filters to families, ¿sí?
El cambio que en las familias, las familias rurales, en las comunidades en las cuales trabajamos, ha sido satisfactorio. Nos sentimos, bueno, orgullosos de formar parte de la donación que ustedes han hecho a nuestras comunidades.
So he's seen a lot of satisfactory progress among the families because of Water with Blessings, and happy to be working with us. ¿Sí?
A la fecha, las familias pues muestran un contento satisfactorio porque la reducción de enfermedades causadas por el agua ha reducido significativamente.
Okay,
Porque
so the amount of waterborne illness has reduced significantly.
Las familias con las que nosotros, la Fundación, trabaja son familias rurales de escasos recursos, con mucha dificultad para comprar un botellón de agua purificada.
So the people they work with are rural families, very difficult for them to even buy a bottle of water. ¿Sí?
Nuestros niños y niñas antes del proyecto presentaban una alta incidencia de diarrea en las comunidades por problemas por la calidad de agua.
Okay, so before the project started, children in the area especially presented with a high degree of diarrhea. ¿Sí?
En nuestra zona, las comunidades, en las comunidades con las cuales trabajamos, el agua es en un total es de mala calidad, porque son aguas de pozo, y eso afecta principalmente a los niños y a los ancianos. Con la donación que la Agua con Bendición nos ha realizado a las comunidades, las enfermedades han bajado y las familias pues muestran su contento, y ahora en estos momentos las familias pues ya no pueden consumir agua de pozo.
So he's saying the water in that area is mostly from wells of very bad quality, issues that especially affect elders and children. And again, just reiterating that having the filters has made a great change in reducing these waterborne illnesses. ¿Sí?
Nosotros la Fundación trabaja con los centros comunitarios de salud en la zona, y nosotros conversamos con la enfermera de los centros de salud, y nos han mostrado datos que antes había los problemas que teníamos antes de diarrea en la zona, principalmente en los niños, y los datos ahora, y realmente los cambios que las familias tienen ahora, pues nosotros estamos sorprendidos y, bueno, agradecidos con la Fundación Agua con Bendición.
So he's working with local health offices and nurses. They had already taken or collected data in the past about the incidence of diarrhea among children. And now they're watching that same thing simply by, which children come to the clinics. And he said, we're actually surprised at the impact and very grateful. See?
Bueno, así estamos. En nuestras comunidades fueron beneficiadas 700 familias, pero lo sorprendente del proyecto es que la Fundación Agua con Bendición inculcó a las familias a que no solo compartieran el agua con sus familias, sino que con otras familias de otras comunidades. Y eso es bonito observarlo como las familias comparten agua purificada con otras familias de otras comunidades que no tienen filtro, y que no pudieron acceder, pero que sí toman agua purificada porque las familias comparten el agua purificada o comparten que las familias llegan a purificar el agua.
So he's just making me smile a lot here because he said part of what really surprised them, the leaders of the organization, is that I think he said, ¿cuántas familias tienen filtros allá? ¿Cuántas mujeres? Ciento.
En la zona 700 familias.
300.
700.
700.
700.
700.
Sí, sí.
Okay. So about 700 water women in that area, in that zone. And he said what really surprised them was to see that in keeping with the promise that they made, these families, these women are sharing with other people and even in people in other communities beyond their own. So they're seeing that impact ripple out. Sí.
Ok. La fundación nuestra, FUNASH, siempre ha trabajado con métodos de purificación de agua, pero por años habíamos como que venido cometiendo el error, pero consideramos que el filtro purificador de agua, que el agua con bendición está facilitando a las familias, pues es el más adecuado en nuestra zona y el que ha funcionado, como decir, al 100%, y que las familias se han mostrado pues el contento al tenerlo en su hogar.
So he's saying that they've worked with water programs in the past. He said just something about maybe there were some errors, not going into that necessarily, but that they can see that this filter is the best possible filter, very adequate for the needs, 100% satisfaction with the filter, and they're very, very happy with that. See? Sí, señor?
Así es.
Así es.
Sí.
Okay, so I think he's said all he planned to say. Muchas gracias, Aníbal.
Gracias a ustedes y gracias al apoyo que nos han dado en nuestras comunidades, más que todo son comunidades pues rurales, indígenas en este caso, con las cuales estamos trabajando, y consideramos que su aporte al desarrollo de la comunidad ha sido muy importante, y pues porque la familia es el primer alimento que consumen, es el agua, y si el agua es de mala calidad, pues tendremos una mala nutrición y por ende pues un mal desarrollo. Y con este proyecto que ustedes nos han facilitado a nuestras comunidades, pues hemos visto el cambio tanto en los niños como en los adultos mayores, cómo ha cambiado la vida de ellos, no solo en la parte física, nutricional, sino que en general en todo ha habido un cambio significativo, aparte de lo que nosotros como fundación hacemos en las comunidades, que trabajamos con ellos incansablemente por lograr esa igualdad entre todos, pero que consideramos que el agua pues es un líquido pues vital para la vida. Si es de mala calidad, pues tendremos niños con discapacidades quizás no físicas, pero sí de otras opciones que no vamos a poder avanzar. Porque nuestras aguas, como le repito, son de mala calidad y no estamos consumiendo pues aguas como saludables. Y ahorita con el proyecto que nos ha facilitado Agua con Bendición, la alianza que hemos construido pues ha sido satisfactoria y nuestras familias pues están contentas, ¿verdad?
Gracias. So Aníbal is just wrapping up with, again, talking about their work among the indigenous and about community development and how water is the basis of nutrition, really. Clean water is where nutrition starts, good nutrition and health. And yet he's seeing other benefits because of the community nature of the whole program, just beyond the immediate impact of clean water is for better health. But he's reiterated again, clean water has made such a huge difference. And he's very happy with the partnership as well with our team, with Dennis and his team in working together. So I'm of course very, very happy to hear that. I know all of you are as well. And I just want to say this is a great introduction because in the past, this was basically what we had. Okay, before and still, and you know, doing follow-up work is pretty expensive. And you know, we have to get someone out into the field and support them out there and do all of that. And so it's not something that we do with every water woman at all. But we do it when we have the opportunity to have some funding support that, or if a donor is particularly concerned, you know, that we make sure that they get follow-up data as well. So you can see that we get this, you know, just personal witness from people who speak so eloquently, as Anibal has just done, about how important and what an impact it's had where they're working. That is the first thing we're looking for. But now we're also able, as I said, to collect data on phone apps, on an app called Survey 123. And it's all on apps that we're able, or surveys that we're able to design. And we do that with professional assistance and guidance through Sparrow Technologies. And I'd like to, I think, go to some maps and show you a series of maps that will give you an idea of just how that GIS technology is guiding all of this. So here we have a map. First of all, just for context, I know a lot of people aren't sure where Honduras is. Honduras is down here in the lower left, and you see up here at the top in the middle, that's Florida, okay? And the Gulf of Mexico over toward the left on the west. Haiti on the right. So there you see all the many green and yellow dots. That's Jerry's work and his team. And then down here across these, this heaviest area, you could probably kind of see the outline of Honduras. So now we'll just take a look at Honduras a little more close up. And I don't know if you could sort of make the outline. It always reminds me of Kentucky upside down. But you can see that we've got a lot of work heading, you know, pretty much north to south. Over in on the right, if you can see the words Puerto Limpiera, that is where we hope to start working this year on a 5-year project. So where you see over on the right, up toward the north coast, we have only a couple of little yellow dots. There's actually a lot more water women. Their dots are all stacked up. You see, when you look at these maps, you're seeing stacks of many, many dots. So we hope to expand more across La Mosquitia with the help of some funding in the future. But right now, let's see. Let's take a look at the follow-up activity just for Honduras. And those will be blue dots that are gonna come next. And so you can see different follow-up projects over the past year. These are just in the past year or so. Some down in the south. If you see Tegucigalpa there in the middle, it's uncovered now. That's where the team is located. And then if you see up there, you can see YORO possibly, very faintly. That's the area where Anibal works, that kind of middle cluster of dots there. Let's see if we're gonna zoom in a little more to the north coast. Got just a couple more maps. So this is essentially all of the work of the follow-up the response to hurricane survivors. So as I was saying at the beginning of the program, before we got everybody connected, the hurricane, as hurricanes often do when they hit in Honduras, they hit there along the north coast, and then it even came in pretty far and just settled in with a lot of rain. And at that point, you're not getting a lot of high winds, but you're still getting way, way too much water to deal with. You can't see it on this, but on the far left of this map, just a little past that other kind of set of dots on the left there, is San Pedro Sula, which is the second largest city in Honduras. And the airport there was put out of commission for months because of flooding. It gives you some idea of the amount of water that these hurricanes brought. These were hurricanes, it's going to come to me, I should have looked it up. It's going to come back to me. So if we just go one more slide over, we're going to see, again, the blue is the follow-up activity. And I think down in the bottom left corner is more where Aníbal. Denis, como a la izquierda más abajo, esa es la zona de Aníbal, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yeah. So that's where Aníbal's and Funash work among the indigenous people. So to do the follow-up for this, and we had a goal of 500, and we're pretty darn close. We've got, I think, 462. To do this, Denny's had to make connections back with people like Aníbal, ask for their support. You can't just waltz into a community as a stranger and expect to start collecting people. And the first thing we did was start talking about, you know, how can we motivate people who are living pretty challenging lives to give up about half a day and come meet with us. And so Denny's came up with, I think we should give out dental kits, family dental kits with toothbrushes and toothpaste and cups. Denny's tiene un equipo de los cepillos y todo contigo.
Sí, sí. Pásame.
Okay, he's going to show us one of the, they packed up all these little kits. We can leave the maps now. Yeah, there we go. And package those. ¿Y qué hay en esta?
Hay 3 cepillos dentales,
Okay, 3 toothbrushes,
una pasta dental
1 toothpaste,
y 3 vasos
and
plásticos para tomar agua.
3 plastic cups for drinking water. So the water women in the area, thanks to Aníbal and other coordinators and other, you know, up there in the North Coast, got the word to invite water women to come back to their training sites or somewhere close by and meet with Denny's, bring their buckets. They had to bring their bucket and filter, and they had to be able to demonstrate that it was in good working order or not. We actually got great results from that. And in return for their time and their help, they received those dental packages for their families. So, me voy a regresarme a las mujeres de agua, a las maestras un ratito, ¿ok? Me voy a enseñarles una cosa más, ¿ok? Es una cosa que muestra los resultados del trabajo de seguir, ¿ok? De esta entrevista que hicieron, ¿ok?
Sí.
Okay. So I told them we're just gonna now go, and I'm gonna have to do the sharing. So just take me a minute here. I'm really excited to show you this. Okay, can everybody see this dashboard? Okay, everybody seeing that? Okay, for some reason, I'm not able to see the ball anymore, and that's unusual. Debbie, can you answer me, please? Do you see?
Yes, we can see the.
Okay, for some reason, I'm not able to see participants at all anymore. So I'm going to try to say some of this in Spanish as well as we go along, just because I want them to see the great results here. So this is all data that has been brought into a dashboard format from the data that was taken in the GIS system. GIS is Geographic Information System, and it depends on collecting data and correlating that with GPS locations, geographic positioning, okay? And so, or global positioning, sorry, it's global positioning. And for us, that works within about a 5-meter degree of accuracy. Every once in a while, a cloud goes over a satellite and it throws a marker out into the ocean or something. We get really great accuracy otherwise. So what we can see here, because this is filtered up here in the top right, from August when Denny started this work up until just today, all the follow-up in the North Coast area. And so we can see over here that we're just looking at Honduras, that we have 462 water women have been interviewed. Okay, this is not all of them at all, just in this one section down here in the middle, we know we have over 700, but we just needed a good sample. So we're estimating, just based on how many they report in their families, about over 3,800, but there'd be a lot more because they're sharing, as an email just told us. And then we have some pretty interesting stats here. So first of all, this, we have to kind of page, are you the water woman who originally received this filter? Almost 10% are not the original water woman. But when I looked at the story of why, it's usually a mother is out of town, or a mother's at the hospital, or a mother has disappeared and given it to her daughter, or just somebody's busy. So still 90% is really great. But what we really like seeing is that somebody else still understands how to use that filter. So even when we look at the group that is no, and that changes some things over here. You see over here in the bottom right, this asks us, do they understand their comprehension? Every one of those who is not the original water woman understands how to both filter and black flush. And there were 45 of those, by the way. So you can just kind of get a sense of, this is really a powerful way to look at this data. So 100% of all the women who were interviewed had working filters. And 100% of them are reporting that they're healthy, that they're free of diarrhea. This actually should say, or they're reporting on diarrhea, they're 100% healthy. And we can see over here, there's other health issues that are asked about, which might or might not be related to a waterborne illness, but we see there's nothing there for diarrhea. That's really great. And again, this is follow-up that's being done about a year or so after these filters are placed. Usually we try to get out there a much sooner, maybe within a couple of months at the most. But because of COVID, there's been a lot of challenges with travel and, meeting together with people. But this tells us, this number right here and the working filter number, this tells us that these women really, really take this seriously. They really embrace the chance for their families, for their children to be healthy. They're smart women. As we always say, God has put smart women everywhere. And so they have stayed focused on this, and they're doing great. Another thing over here where it says still providing water to neighbors. Okay, 98.7, about 98.7% of those are still providing water to neighbors. We actually only ask them to do that for 6 months. And it's, as you can see, it's really rare that women give that up. And maybe that's just some change of circumstance. Some of these people live pretty far, pretty spread out from neighbors, just depending on if they're doing some kind of agricultural work and such. So there could be all kinds of reasons behind that, or maybe, for some reason, they're just not feeling that anymore. But we see a really high degree of women who are saying, yeah, I'm still sharing this with my neighbors. Only about 0.5% have had a death in the family, and only about 25% of 1%, so 0.24%, have had a death that they identify as being due to waterborne illness. I think we need to make sure that we understand, that we get what they are identifying as the waterborne illness as well. But this is a really low percentage of population death for waterborne illness. Any of us would look at that and say, oh my gosh, 5, that's just too many people. We don't ever want to see anyone die of waterborne illness. But again, first of all, we're not sure what's identified there. That's a little something we need to tighten up in our process. And that is an extremely, extremely low percentage in the developing world. And then over here, again, this is all part of what Anibal is pointing out, is illness resulting in hospitalization. We've got a, just overall any illness. This is again, a good marker for we've got a pretty healthy organization or a pretty healthy community here. And if we click right here, so diarrhea, then, we see there are other health issues that are still plaguing people. About 40% of these families are reporting things like sore throats, cough, and headache. This, by the way, is all also correlated to COVID, right? Fever. I think these 4 symptoms right here are telling us something about COVID in the area. And this one just says other. And again, we have some narrative here as well. So, Dennis y Aníbal, yo quiero enseñarles más sobre estos resultados, ¿ok? Pero en este momento estoy pensando que me voy a seguir con ese proceso y más adelante, si quieren, regresamos a esta y les enseño más sobre esta manifestación, ¿ok?
Gracias, madre, gracias, está bien.
I told them I'd catch them up more in Spanish. I know they're going to want to dig into that dashboard and really see those amazing results. Pero los resultados son algo maravilloso, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí, sí.
No hay diarrea. 100% de las mujeres comprenden su filtro,
Sí.
usan su filtro, la gran mayoría comparten su filtro. Es algo increíble.
Sí.
Felicidades.
Gracias, madre.
Ya
A
está.
usted
También felicidades.
está el equipo. Vaya, madre.
Sí, de Jerry, porque ese es los resultados de las maestras, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí.
Gracias.
Dinámica. So I'm saying, first of all, congratulations to everyone, because these results show really, really good work. They show great training work, and especially on the part of those women who were doing that training. This is not, you came to a training and you were sitting around distracted while somebody kind of mumbled at the front of the room. This is the kind of training we want to see. This takes women in a circle, a teacher standing up, moving around, dynamic, getting them engaged. Everybody who's done this, Jerry and Jim are nodding, Michelle, because you've seen why this is so important, right? And so you can see these results mirror that kind of training. And so these results mirror dedicated teachers, excellent teachers. Esos resultados están como un espejo que muestran maestras excelentes, ¿verdad?
Así es, madre.
Sí. Yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, dice Aide.
Aide's favorite English word is beautiful. It's her first English word. She doesn't have very many of them, but she goes beautiful. She always says something is beautiful. Lilian, si quiere hablar un poquito, compartir un poquito de su experiencia de ser maestra en este área. I'm inviting Lilian to come up and share a little bit. Lilian is our very first water teacher since 2008. Lilian has been serving as a water teacher, and she is the kind of like the patron of all water teachers all over the world. Lilian, estoy esperando que se pueda compartir un poquito de sus memorias de esta experiencia en el norte con los sobrevivientes del huracán.
Sí, buenos días, hermanos, hermanas.
Hello, everyone, brothers and sisters.
Gracias por invitarnos, ¿verdad?, a esta reunión.
Thanks for inviting us to this reunion, to this meeting.
Y poder contar un poco de muchas experiencias que tenemos.
And we could share just a little of many, many experiences that we've had.
Pero a través de las tormentas Zeta y Iota, tuvimos la oportunidad de poder llegar a comunidades donde realmente, ¿verdad?, era de gran necesidad llegar como Ministerio Agua con Bendiciones.
So after these hurricanes, they had the opportunity to go to these really devastated communities that were in great, great need.
Y vimos la realidad que realmente pasaba en nuestro país, ¿verdad? Con nuestras familias.
And so we live this experience, the experience that we live as families here in this country.
A la comunidad que fuimos de Finca 8, 10 y 11, capacitamos, ¿verdad? En una escuela de la colonia La Bendición, donde realmente, ¿verdad? Vimos testimonios impactantes que uno se conmueve al ver la realidad de nuestros hermanos. Vimos familias en la escuela, muchas familias en los albergues, que solamente contaban con una colchoneta que se les había donado. Habían perdido todo en sus casas, les tocó salir. Y entonces también tuvimos la oportunidad de ver en esas colonias las tuberías dañadas, el agua sucia. Y para nosotros, pues, fue de mucha alegría poder llegar ahí a las comunidades y poder capacitar a las mujeres.
Un momento, déjame un ratito, okay? So she's talking about they would come to these communities and find families living in some kind of shelter, often in schools, with nothing. They'd lost everything. Maybe they'd have one mattress to share that somebody had donated. And then out in the communities, they could see like if there had been a water system, lots of broken pipes and such. So they were just really thrilled to be able to come and help these people in such an important way. Así.
Y realmente es de mucha alegría poder ser parte del ministerio, poder compartir lo que Dios nos ha dado, poder ayudar, poder colaborar con las familias y ver el rostro de los niños, de las madres, ¿verdad? Cuando ya hacemos la prueba del agua contaminada, pasada por el sistema de filtración, yo les digo a ellas, ¿qué piensan de este sistema de filtración, de este regalo que se les ha traído? ¿Creen que ha valido la pena estar aquí? Y todas dicen, sí, ¿verdad? Alegres, llenas de gozo. Y algunos niños cuando ven el agua sucia y que pasa por el filtro, dice que nosotros tenemos magia.
So there at the end, she was talking about, first of all, she was talking about just what a joy it is to work with these people and to, you know, see their need and be able to help them. And especially when they come to the point in the training, there's a point where they take the dirty water, they take local dirty water and they put it through the filter and they drink it and they invite others to drink. And she said to see the faces of the women and children when they see that change of water, when they see that water become clean and pure. She said the children say it's magic. They think they're magical. I think they think that the water teachers are magical, that they're magicians, that's the word. ¿Sí?
Sí, y las familias pues quedaron muy agradecidas, hermana, muy agradecidas, las madres. Ellas se sienten, verdad, felices cuando ya reciben su filtro y saber que como les decimos nosotros, puede ser agua lluvia de río, de pozo, de quebrada, pero si tiene el filtro usted en casa, es como que ya tenga su propia fábrica en su casa. Entonces, ver ese rostro en ellos es de mucha alegría.
So she says, you know, when they tell people now you have this filter in your house, it's like you have your own water factory. You can make clean water from the river, from the rainwater, from the creek, from the well, whatever it is, and it's like you have your own water factory. I love that. Sí.
Sí, nos sentimos muy agradecidos al ser parte del Ministerio Agua con Bendiciones. Tenemos
Very
miles de
grateful.
experiencias.
Feel very grateful to be part of the Ministry of Water with Blessings. And Lilian and Ide and some of these others are among our very first group of water women. in 2008. And so they too were people who did not have access to clean water. And so they know the importance, they know the power of having that filter. And they've been using those filters since 2008 very faithfully. Estoy diciendo que ustedes eran parte del primer grupo, ¿sí?
Sí.
Entre los primeros, y que ustedes la primera maestra, ¿sí?
Sí.
Y que ustedes comprenden como la importancia del agua limpia, ¿verdad? Porque ha
Sí.
experimentado esto en su propia vida.
Sí, damos testimonio de lo que hemos recibido. Entonces, eso tiene mucho peso para ellas, ¿verdad? Hacia ellas. Y nosotros les decimos, tenemos tantos años de tener el filtro y nuestros hijos saludables, nuestra familia. Y ellas, la capacitación, gracias a Dios que nos ha dado, ¿verdad? La sabiduría, todo como agua con bendiciones. Y tratamos cada día de dar la charla con amor, con alegría, porque al ver esos rostros, pues es el rostro de Jesús a través de nuestras hermanas necesitadas y nos llenamos de alegría, saber que cada día que vamos a una misión hay más familias que ya tienen el sistema de filtración y el agua limpia y pura para sus niños y para todas las familias y las comunidades, porque siempre les invitamos que tienen que compartir con las familias que no tienen.
And so she says when they go out, she knows that every day they're going out, they're going to find the face of Jesus. And that there's going to be more families at the end of the day who have clean water. And so they try to give the training with love every time. You know, you can imagine saying the same few hours worth of stuff over and over and over every day. You'd have to really be deeply motivated to do that well. But she talked about it's so impactful to be able to say to the families that they're serving, to the women that they're training, we were in your situation. We know what it's like not to have clean water. And we've had this filter for all these years. Our children have not been sick. This has made a huge difference in our own lives. And that right there just underlines the importance of we only work with nationals of that country and people who have received the filter themselves. That's what makes the training, you know, have impact, is that people will trust other mothers like themselves and trust their word. Okay, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias por compartir. ¿Era algo más que quería decir?
Sí, siempre, ¿verdad? Les invitamos a las madres a orar, a ser agradecidas, a cuidar, a valorar el sistema de filtración, porque siempre les digo, este regalo viene de parte de Dios, que puso en el corazón de la persona que donó para que usted y su familia viva más saludable. Y siempre les invitamos a orar por las personas donantes, para que Dios, pues cada día, abra más corazones, más personas que puedan colaborar y que puedan apoyar a otras familias que aún no tienen el sistema de filtración.
I asked her if she wanted to say something more. She said yes. She wanted to say that they always start the whole process with the women praying. At the end, they talk with them about this is something to appreciate, to take care of. It comes to us because God has moved someone to donate the funds that are needed to get this filter to you. And she always encourages the recipients to pray for those who donated and to pray that God will open more hearts so that more families will receive this benefit. ¿Todo? ¿Más?
Sí, no. Muchas gracias. Gracias por escucharnos.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hearing us.
Bendiciones para todos y todas.
Blessings for everyone. Muchas gracias.
Aide. Está Aide, madre. Aide va a compartir.
Sí, Aide, ¿quiere compartir un poquito?
Sí.
May go on a little longer, folks, because we have a lot of people who want to share. So,
Buenos días.
un momentito, perdón. So I'm going to understand if you have to leave, but we're going to keep going just to let these women do their sharing, okay? Sí, Aide?
Buenos días. Buenos días, beautiful. Qué hermosura, va. Bendiciones para todos y todas.
Blessings for everyone.
Es un placer estarles saludando en esta hermosa mañana.
It's a great, sorry, my mind's locking down all of a sudden. It's a great pleasure to greet all of you on this beautiful morning.
Quiero compartir un poco de una de tantas experiencias que hemos vivido como maestra del agua con bendiciones.
She wants to share a little bit over what they've experienced as teachers for Water with Blessings.
Es un ministerio que ha sido de mucha bendición en nuestro país, Honduras.
It's a ministry that has given a lot of blessing to our country, to Honduras.
Sí, primeramente para mí como maestra del agua.
First of all, for me as a teacher, a water teacher,
ha sido de mucha bendición en mi familia.
It's been many blessings for my family.
Ya no nos enfermamos debido a agua contaminada.
Now we never get sick from dirty water.
Porque ya tenemos nuestro filtro en nuestra familia.
Because we have our filter in our family.
Quiero contar sobre mi experiencia sobre una comunidad que visitamos después del huracán Eta y Iota.
I want to share about our experience in one of the communities that we visited after the hurricane.
Se llama La Guacamaya, Agua Blanca Sur.
It's called, ¿cómo se llama?
La Guacamaya.
Agua Camaya.
En Progreso y Oro.
And in Yoro, it's a community called Agua Camaya, I think.
Sí, llegamos a esa comunidad donde nos recibió una hermana que era la pastora, es la pastora de la iglesia evangélica.
Okay, so they were received there in that community by a woman pastor with an evangelical church.
Sí, ella se llama María de la Cruz.
She's named Mary of the Cross, María de la Cruz.
Sí, me impactó, ¿verdad? El testimonio de ella que al recibir esta bendición lloraba. Lloraba.
What touched her was that when this woman received her filter, this blessing, she cried.
Sí, lloraba no de tristeza, sino de alegría por este ministerio.
She cried for happiness.
Sí, al saber que su comunidad había recibido un regalo muy precioso y de alto valor.
Because her community had received something very precious and of great value.
Sí, porque era una ocasión donde habían ocurrido esta situación de los huracanes. Y las familias pues se enfermaban con más frecuencia porque no había agua limpia, agua purificada.
Because after the hurricane, people were getting sick more frequently because there just wasn't any clean water.
Y entonces ella se alegró mucho por su comunidad.
So she
porque
was very appreciative for her community.
Sí, porque eran familias de escasos recursos y no tenían dinero para comprar agua.
Because they were people, very poor people who didn't have any money for water.
Entonces ella se alegró. Yo pude ver que cómo hay hermanas o hermanos que se alegran por el bienestar de sus comunidades. Entonces ella,
Está bien.
Ella estaba muy contenta y nosotros también nos sentimos felices, alegres al llegar allí.
Everybody was happy. They were happy. She was happy. Everybody was happy that they'd arrived.
Allí la situación era bien crítica.
And the situation was very critical.
Era bien crítica porque la situación lo ameritaba. Ella se sentía, ¿verdad?, feliz. Y a mí me alegra porque las personas que nos reciben con mucha alegría.
So it made her really happy because the situation was really critical and yet people received them with great joy.
Entonces, a través de estas familias que nos reciben, le doy gracias a Dios también porque los que donan los filtros, las personas donantes tienen que sentirse feliz, alegres, porque es un regalo que se recibe con mucha alegría.
So she says donors should feel very happy, very contented to know that this is a gift that's received with great joy.
Porque con este regalo se ha ayudado a que las enfermedades han disminuido. Ya no hay mucha enfermedad en las familias que tienen un filtro.
So she can witnessing that you can see a great reduction in the amount of illness in these families. She said there's virtually no illness in the families that have it.
Y así animamos a las familias que donan, ¿verdad? Para que el Señor les bendiga en sus trabajos, sus finanzas y puedan ayudar más y más.
And so we pray for all these
Beautiful.
donating families that God will bless you in your work, in your finances, so you give more and more.
Beautiful, por tener un corazón muy blandito.
It's beautiful that you have such a soft heart, very soft heart.
Esa es mi experiencia, hermana Riri. Yo estoy agradecida con Dios porque este ministerio es muy hermoso, muy bendecido, como los que lo formamos, va. Agua con bendiciones, aquí solo hermosura sabemos. Y que el Señor nos da un corazón para poder trabajar alegremente con este ministerio y con muchas familias que son muy sencillas y humildes y reciben con mucho amor este regalo.
Okay.
Gracias.
So thanks be to God who's given us this opportunity to work in this beautiful ministry, and it's a beautiful experience all the way around.
Muchas gracias por habernos escuchado, ¿verdad? Muchas bendiciones.
Many blessings. Thank you for hearing us.
Bye.
Okay, muchas gracias. Okay, ¿hay otra persona más que quiere hacer testimonio? I'm just asking if there, I have to offer it to everyone. Okay, Andrea. No, Reina. Hola, Reina.
Hola, buenos días.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Bendiciones para todos y todas.
Blessings for everyone.
Bueno, mi experiencia como maestra del Ministerio Agua con Bendiciones.
My experience as a teacher for Water with Blessings.
Han sido muchas, pero sí hay una que siempre a uno le impacta más. Entonces,
Some experiences impact you more than others.
sí, estuvimos en el departamento de Comayagua, en una comunidad que se llama Quebrada Honda.
Quebrada Honda. So they were in a community called Deep Creek, Quebrada Honda, in Comayagua, a different department.
En donde estaba capacitando a las mujeres cuando también les pedí que oraran por las personas donantes y por el Ministerio Agua con Bendiciones. Entonces,
they were working with people, and they asked them to pray for the donors and for the ministry. ¿Sí?
Una madre dijo, yo voy a orar por las personas, igual por el Ministerio Agua con Bendiciones, y dar gracias a Dios porque ella tiene una niña de 3 años que padece de una bacteria desde pequeña. Le hicieron los exámenes en el centro de salud y tenía una bacteria producida por el agua contaminada.
Okay, so she said this one mother talked about that her 3-year-old daughter had some major health issues from a bacteria in the water. They went to the health department did some studies and said this is due to a bacteria in the water.
Le realizaron por segunda vez sus análisis, igual salió con con el mismo parásito y bacteria.
So the second time, same parasite, same bacteria. ¿Sí?
El médico le indicó que tomara solamente el agua purificada, igual de sus alimentos, también bañar su niña solamente con el agua purificada.
So the doctor told her, you've got to only let this child drink purified water, and you should only bathe her in purified water. See?
Porque la niña continúa con sus mismos problemas de salud.
Feel sick.
Entonces, ella daba gracias a Dios por obtener, por ser una madre que había sido bendecida con el sistema de filtración. Dijo, ahora ya voy a tener como mi niña pueda curarse de ese tipo de parásitos.
So the mother was just really thrilled because she said, you know, I mean, the concept of buying clean water to bathe your child in, when literally a bottle of water, just like it is here, costs more than that much in gasoline. You know, that's pretty. So she was really pleased to know that she was going to be able to do exactly what she needed to do to heal her daughter.
Ahí no hay acceso de poder comprar el agua, igual no tenía el dinero para poderla comprar. Por eso ella se sentía muy feliz de recibir ese regalo que para ella era una bendición.
So for this mother, she was just really happy, and it was a great blessing for her. Sí. Muchas gracias por compartir eso.
Gracias a todos los donantes.
Thank you to all the donors.
Gracias a todos por darnos también a nosotros la oportunidad de formar parte de este ministerio.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this ministry.
Gracias a todos. Bendiciones para todos.
Thank you and blessings for everyone. Okay, gracias.
De hermana Juanita, ya por último, un poquito.
Okay, just one more person for a little while, he says.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
La paz de Dios sea con todos y todas.
It's God be with everyone.
Muy contenta, muy feliz de poder pertenecer a este gran ministerio de amor.
Very happy to be part of this great ministry of love.
Muy bendecidos.
Very blessed.
Y agradecida con cada donante, con usted, hermana Riri, por la oportunidad que nos da de poder ser parte de este gran ministerio.
So very grateful to everyone, all the donors. Yeah.
Voy a contar un poquito, o sea, como dicen las hermanas, son muchas las, es mucho lo vivido. Y la gran bendición que se lleva a todas las familias donde visitamos. Quiero contarles, fuimos invitados el año pasado en enero a una comunidad que se llamaba Guaymas 1 y Guaymas 2.
So they went to a community called Guaymas 1 and Guaymas number 2.
En el departamento del Negrito Lloro.
Near Negrito and Lloro.
Sí, donde nos invitaron a una comunidad que fue azotada por los huracanes Eta y Iota.
Okay, so and the hurricanes, by the way, were Eta and Iota. And
Sí.
so they were in communities that were devastated by those hurricanes.
Sí, el río Guaymón destruyó a toda la comunidad de Guaymas.
So the nearby river destroyed the entire community.
Y todas las familias en esa comunidad fueron evacuadas por personas de buen corazón.
Okay, so everybody in that community was evacuated by good-hearted people.
Sí, donde el río destruyó la mayor parte de los hogares, las familias quedaron sin hogar, sin un techo y fueron evacuadas.
So the people were evacuated because the river washed away their homes, their roofs, the great majority of homes.
Y donde murieron muchas personas.
And many, many people died there.
Lo impactante fue que nos invitaron en ese lugar donde no había alimento, no había techo, no había agua.
So what's important is they came to this place where There was no food, there was no roof, there was no water.
En esa comunidad recibieron agua con bendición, con gran alegría, porque había la necesidad de agua limpia, porque no lo había.
So in this community, they received water with blessings with great joy because there was no water there, no clean water.
Sí, fue impactante ver cómo las mujeres llegaban estuvimos en una iglesia que se llamaba Iglesia Libre de Dios de la Profecía.
Okay, so they were in an evangelical church, Church of the God of Prophecy, I think.
La cual estaban limpiando en esos momentos, incluso había lodo también, salimos llenas de lodo y las mujeres llegaban de su arduo trabajo a recibir su sistema de filtración con mucho amor y con mucha alegría.
The place was full of mud, she said, but the women came from wherever they were to receive the filters with a lot of joy.
Porque fue un lugar donde todavía el lodo estaba en los hogares, estaba incluso en la iglesia y llegaban con sus botas de hule a recibir los sistemas. Ahí salimos todos llenos de lodo.
Everybody was in mud. There was lots of mud there. The church was full of mud. The women were coming in boots, you know, like rain boots.
Pero muy contentos de haber llevado esa gran bendición.
Everyone happy to be getting this great blessing.
Sí, donde agua con bendiciones fue de gran bendición para esas familias.
And so this was a great blessing for these families.
Es por eso que agradezco a todos los donantes por ese gran corazón, por ese amor y esperando pues que sigan surgiendo más corazones bondadosos y llenos de misericordia para poder bendecir a muchas familias aquí en Honduras y en el mundo entero.
Okay, so much appreciation. She has so much appreciation for all the donors and that God will bless and continue to move people, help more families here in Honduras and all over the world.
Y seguiremos aprendiendo mucho para seguir dando con amor lo que con amor nos dan y con amor vamos a entregar. Con amor vamos a dar esa charla con alegría, con amor, con entusiasmo.
They always give the teaching, the sessions with much joy and love and dynamically.
Que Dios los bendiga a todos, porque con agua limpia se vive mejor.
That God will bless everyone because with clean water, you live better.
Gracias a todos. Que Dios los bendiga.
God bless you. Muchas gracias. Muchas
Bye.
gracias. Is it Magdalena?
Ahorita.
Okay. Oh, esa es Diana.
Días.
Magdalena.
Mi nombre es Magdalena Ponce.
I don't know. Hola.
Soy nueva de...
Inicia.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Magdalena Ponce.
This is Magdalena.
Sí. Me siento muy contenta primeramente con Dios.
Very happy, especially with God.
Con el hermano Denis, con ustedes que me han dado la oportunidad, la dicha de poder compartir con ustedes. Y con muchas familias que lo necesitan.
And very happy and appreciative on behalf of many families that need it.
Tuve la oportunidad de ir a mi lugar donde viven mis padres, mi familia, a entregarnos.
So they went back to her home village where her parents live. ¿Dónde es?
Don Concepción de María, Choluteca.
In Choluteca. So that's más al sur, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí.
So,
Frontera con Nicaragua.
Frontera con Nicaragua.
okay, down on the border with Nicaragua.
Donde-
Her home village, and they went down there.
Donde ellos quedaron muy agradecidos y de mi parte, de parte de ellos, les mandaban muchas gracias.
On their part, she wants to say many thanks.
Y muy alegre con ustedes. Gracias a Dios. Y
Very happy with all of
el
us.
Señor me les bendiga a todos.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Bendiciones.
Blessings.
Sí, Sigue
The
Diana.
first one was Juana, and it was Magdalena. Y Diana Espinal.
Sí, bueno,
Diana, te recuerdo. Te recuerdo de chica.
sí,
I've
ya
known
soy
Diana
madre.
since she was little.
Soy madre.
Soy madre, tengo un bebé de 2 años.
Hi, she's now a mother with a baby. Qué bueno, felicidades.
Gracias.
¿Y la bebé está contigo en este momento?
No.
No, está
Oh,
en
I
casa.
was hoping she's going to show us the baby. Felicidades, Diana.
Gracias. Bueno, soy nueva de pertenecer a este Ministerio de Agua con Bendiciones
She's new to come to this ministry.
y le agradezco a Dios y que Dios bendiga a todos los
God.
donantes
God will bless all the donors.
por esta gran bendición que nos brindan a todos
This great
todos los
blessing
países.
that has come to everyone.
Gracias. Que Dios los bendiga a todos.
Thank you and God bless everyone.
Madre Riri.
Sí.
Desafortunadamente en la zona sur no se pudieron conectar las maestras que tenemos, que es Arelia León y Ada Oseguera.
There's two teachers that live in the south. When they go south, they work with those teachers. And he was hoping they could connect in, but unfortunately not.
Sí, este es el equipo, ¿verdad? Que está permanente. Si una no puede ir, la otra le cubre y así. Somos, también tenemos en el paraíso y así estamos trabajando, Madre, gracias a Dios. Este es el equipo que salimos día a día.
Okay, this is the daily team that goes out. There's also some more in Paraíso, but this is kind of the core team here. I'm just so excited to see. I've known Diana since she was about 8 years old, I think. 7 or 8 years old. So that's really exciting to me to see her part of the team. Estoy bien alegre ver Diana.
Gracias, Madre, gracias.
Me recuerda desde como 8 años, yo creo, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí.
Sí. ¿Cuántos años ya tiene ella?
¿Cuántos años tiene Diana? 23 años tiene.
23, 23.
Sí.
23 years old. So I probably known her since she was about 10, yeah. 9 or 10.
Sí.
Wow.
Es muy dinámica. Ella colabora en la decoración de las cubetas, en toda la logística y está aprendiendo el día a día.
Excelente.
Sí.
So she's new, she's learning all different aspects of everything. There, ¿se puede mostrar como la oficina a todos?
Sí.
So they're kind of like in our office / warehouse. And there's all kinds of activities they got to keep up with there. You can see it's got, showing you some of the workspaces and whatnot. It's hard to see with that lighting. It's up on the 2nd floor. Y se puede mostrar como los otros baldes y filtros allá.
Están en la bodega, Madre, en la parte de abajo, en el piso de abajo tenemos de bodega, está lleno de materiales, de cubetas y todo lo demás.
Okay, so the warehouse downstairs, I've forgotten we had to rent a second room. So that is full of all kinds of things.
Ahí están unas cajas, está donde guardamos la...
There's a lot of organizational work and then the assembling the kits and getting everything ready. So as it grows, there's just a need for more help. That's great.
Sí.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Sí.
Okay, everyone. That, as we said, was going on a little longer than we anticipated. But I think we've covered everything we wanted to. We will be doing a, looks like David had to get off of here, but we have a recording of this, and then David will be creating a more edited version of this to share in the future. This goes to some of our funders for that project as well, and they're going to be really excited to see those follow-up results. That, again, is that's a huge accomplishment. And I wasn't even sure till yesterday when I saw the dashboard exactly what kind of results we were going to be getting. I would have been pretty happy with results that weren't nearly quite so good. So, otra vez, felicidades por el trabajo excelente que se muestra en los resultados de las entrevistas, ¿verdad?
Sí. Gracias, madre. Creo que el ingeniero Aníbal Serrano ya se desconectó, pero es un joven que tiene un gran liderazgo.
He's saying Aníbal is
Ahí está, ahí
great
está.
leadership.
Ha sido de mucha bendición haberlo encontrado. Dios va poniendo las piezas en el camino para nuestro proyecto.
Okay.
Y es un joven muy entregado en sus comunidades. Tiene un liderazgo increíble. Y ha sido de mucha bendición para nosotros como Agua con Bendiciones. Y es que, hermano Aníbal, bendiciones y muchas gracias por su apoyo para con nosotros.
Gracias.
So he's saying thanks to Aníbal. He just said he's an incredible leader, young, but just really dynamic and working so well in the communities. And it's been a great opportunity to work with him.
Sí.
Okay.
Y por lo demás, pues estamos agradecidos con cada uno de los que están conectados en este momento, agradecidos con Dios,
Blessings
con los donantes.
to all of you. Thanks to all of you who are connected in this moment.
Sí,
And to God, donors.
Cada experiencia, pues, son diversas en cada lugar y qué bonito que el corazón de las madres, sea en el sur, en el norte, es el mismo sentimiento, las mismas expresiones y qué maravilloso es estar conjunto a cada una de ellas cuando dan las gracias a Dios, que nos bendicen. Una pastora profetizó cuando éramos pequeños, profetizó que íbamos a hacer una gran fundación y yo veo la manifestación de Dios y así como ella lo profetizó, así vamos creciendo en el amor de Jesús y llegando a más personas, madre.
Qué bueno, gracias. Muchas
Sí.
gracias. So he's saying that this is a beautiful concept. Every situation is different. Every experience is different. But he said north and south, all over the country, every woman receives this with the same joy and excitement and appreciation. That it's wonderful to see that sameness in every mother, even though everything else is very different. And Aide está bailando. I see Aide dancing back there. Beautiful. She's a very dynamic teacher, you can imagine. Maestra de dinámica. Okay. Any questions or anything? I mean, I know we've been on a pretty long time, so, but does anyone, Pat?
I just want to say how impressed I am with this group and thinking of that incentive with the oral hygiene to get people to come back. That is so impressive. I just think you guys are great.
Qué bueno, el equipo tan impresivos como sus ideas como con los equipos como dentales para las familias, buenas ideas y todo esto.
Muchas gracias.
Buen equipo, excelente.
Gracias.
They're proud of themselves, as they should be. Okay, I think we'll just call this off now, pero Aníbal y Dani, ¿se puede quedarse conmigo en esta reunión para un momento más?
Está bien.
Okay, so I'm going to just stay on for a little while longer with Aníbal and Denny's and talk some business with them and let them dig into those results a little more, but those follow-up results. But thank you everyone for joining. God bless you. Let's raise a hand in blessing para este equipo. Gracias, Señor, por todos sus regalos. Gracias por el regalo de fe y amor y compasión que ha dado a todo, cada miembro de este equipo. Te bendecimos y te pedimos que bendecir a estos hermanos y hermanas con todo lo que necesitan para la alegría de sus familias, en sus corazones. Amén.
Amén.
Amén.